Part 50. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 491. Hear these joking words. Xiaoxian just smiled and didn't say much. He can tell. Although Meng Lingyun was teasing him, she should actually have benefited a lot from it, so she was teasing him at this time. But this is what Xiaoxian wants to see. Sometimes, he prefers to believe it. Only when the people around him are like him and become stronger together, can he go further on the path of cultivation. Just like now. Meng Lingyun was one of the few people he met who was willing to really help him after he came to the Daedao continent. And, judging from the current situation, he felt that Meng Lingyun seemed to have entered the spiritual realm. Master Meng Xiaogu, please stop joking. I see that Master Meng Xiaogu looks like he has become a master in the realm of spiritual gods, so why are you making fun of me here? Xiaoxian smiled, and then asked Longfei Longwu next to him, how are you too? Did you get any benefits from the passage? Longfei and Longwu just looked at each other. An expression of joy appeared on his face at the same time. Thanks to my brother's concern, we found 2 heavenly saint pills in the passage. As long as we swallow them, we can be promoted to the spiritual god realm. Thank you, big brother, for leading the way. Otherwise, just the 2 of us would never be able to find the heavenly holy pill in this life. Master Meng Xiao Valley, please stop being modest. Tell me what benefits you have gained. Xiaoxian focused his attention on Meng Lingyun again. That sword master's long sword. Meng Lingyun's face turned slightly red with excitement. Actually at the beginning, when she heard Xiaoxian say that he wanted to randomly choose one among all the sword cultivation treasures, she felt a little uncomfortable. After all, although the Blood Evil sect is not a very powerful sect in the Kanglong Empire. But one thing is certain. Meng Lingyun came all the way to the secret realm, naturally not just to accompany him. If possible, she also hoped to get the best resources in the secret realm. This time, when she saw the long sword at the end of the passage on the left, she was so excited that she almost cried. You know, before entering the secret realm, she also explored some information and knew that the most important treasure in the secret realm was the long sword used by the sword master. Just get that sword. Then you have the opportunity to understand the swordsmanship on the long sword. Although this is just a very ordinary long sword, not even a spiritual treasure, it was something used by that sword master. This gives this long sword a different meaning. And actually, Meng Lingyun was once a swordsman, but later in the Blood Evil sect, she practiced more concealment and assassination methods. Naturally, he gave up on sword cultivation. Now, when I have another chance to learn swordsmanship again, I am naturally very excited. It seems that Meng Xiao Valley Master really got a lot of good things in this secret realm, Xiaoxian said with a smile. In that case, it makes me curious. That's all. Then I'll just tell you. I got the long sword that the swordsman once used. Meng Lingyun smiled, but as promised, you are not allowed to rob me. She looked joking, but the maid next to her looked hostile, as if she didn't believe that Xiaoxian could really let them go. Certainly. Didn't I say that? We have a cooperative relationship. Since we have such a relationship, I will naturally not steal your opportunity. Xiaoxian smiled and said, besides, opportunity is destined. Since you can get this long sword, it is enough to prove that you have this opportunity and are so dependent on it. Even if I take it away, it will be useless. After he finished speaking, he smiled at Meng Lingyun. Meng Lingyun looked at Xiaoxian in disbelief at this moment. Actually, when she got the long sword, she was really worried that Xiaoxian and Longfei Longwu would become greedy after knowing about the long sword. I thought about not telling the sword. But after thinking about it, she decided to believe Xiaoxian, so she told the matter. who knew that Xiao Xian could actually say such words at this time, which really made her a little unbelievable. She couldn't believe that Xiao Xian could really be so generous. Let's go. Next, we still have time to see if there are any other valuable treasures in the secret realm. Xiao Xian said and walked outside immediately. In fact, after getting the system's spiritual eye, he saw many hidden treasures in the secret realm. If he was given enough time, he was confident that he could find all the treasures in the secret realm. Only, according to Elder Chaiqian's wishes, this secret realm can only exist for 10 days, so he can only find it for 10 days, which greatly reduces his chance of increasing his strength. Still looking for it? Master Xiao Xian, it seems that you haven't said anything just now. What exactly did you encounter in the passage? Meng Lingyun looked unconvinced. She didn't need to think about it to know that Xiao Xian stayed in the middle passage for so long, and it was obvious that he got a lot of benefits from it. Moreover, she also discovered that Xiao Xian's strength had grown to the point where the power of the great Dao was perfect. Obviously, he also found a lot of good things in the passage. A little bit of the great power left by the sword cultivator. Speaking of which, compared to the things I got from you, they are like heaven and earth. Xiao Xian deliberately looked bitter. If I had known it, I would have chosen the passage on the left. Maybe this is luck. When luck comes, no one can stop it. Although I don't know if Xiao Xian means what he said. You can see what the latter looks like. Meng Lingyun was still happy in her heart. At least, she wants to believe that the long sword she got this time must be the top 3 treasures in the entire secret realm. Just take this long sword out. Understand the great road on the long sword. She might become a big shot like that senior sword cultivator in the future. Alright. In that case, I also have a request. Meng Lingyun pretended to be relaxed. I wonder if you can temporarily act as some of my bodyguards. As long as you are willing, the Blood Evil sect will definitely not treat you badly in the future. She said this. Xiao Xian and others suddenly looked at each other. Of course, Xiao Xian goes without saying. He has traversed the world and played the world, not to mention how many powerful people he has met. He can be considered very knowledgeable. After hearing Meng Lingyun's words, she immediately understood what she meant. She was probably afraid of something happening to the sword in her hand. That's why this request was made. In this regard, he did not insist on refusing. On the one hand, after acquiring Wuji Kendo, he was not interested in the long sword in Meng Lingyun's hand at all. On the other hand, in the secret realm, it was difficult for 2 punches to defeat 4 hands. If he could have a helper like Meng Lingyun, what happens next will be much easier. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 492. Is this? Since we have become allies at that time, it's a bit out of line for you to speak like this. Xiao Xian smiled and said, but there is one thing that you may need to consider. We should at least get some benefits from being your flower guardians. After listening to Xiao Xian's words, Meng Lingyun's face suddenly turned red. In fact, even within the entire Kanglong Empire, there are countless men who want to curry favor with Meng Lingyun and become her suitors. Who wants to benefit? Or in other words, Meng Lingyun can let others stay by her side, which is already the greatest benefit. But now, looking at Xiao Xian's intentions, he still wants to push even further. Isn't this a bit too much? Or a little too confident? If anyone else says so. Maybe Meng Lingyun had already rejected it directly. But after seeing Xiao Xian's serious look, she became more interested and asked proactively, so according to Master Xiao Xian's wishes, how should I repay Master Xiao? Miss, after hearing this, the maid next to Meng Lingyun was the first to become a little anxious. It doesn't matter. Maybe in the secret realm, Master Xiao Xian will really be the one to protect me, right? Meng Lingyun looked charming and said with a smile, even if I don't know what Mr. Xiaoxian needs. Of course, I can agree to some excessive requests. This scene really made Xiaoxian a little at a loss. Ever since he saw Meng Lingyun, he had always thought that Meng Lingyun, as a saint from the inner sect of the Blood Evil sect, should be a cold and holy person, and this was the same impression she had given Xiaoxian. Who knows now? Judging from Meng Lingyun's appearance, it seems that she is not as concerned about her image as she thought. Ahem. Xiaoxian was a little embarrassed and explained, I am very willing to believe that Master Meng Xiaogu. As he spoke, he didn't know what to say. It seemed like he could take the opportunity to make some demands. It is even said that it is possible to develop a relationship with Meng Lingyun and form a Taoist couple. This does not seem to be too much. But this time, Xiaoxian really has no plans in this regard. In the end, he just smiled bitterly and shook his head, Master Meng Xiaogu is joking. I was just joking. How could I really let you do these things? That's good. I have long known that young Master Xiaoxian is generous and kind, and now it seems that he is indeed so. Xiaoxian just finished speaking. Meng Lingyun nodded one after another, as if she had expected such a thing. Regarding this, Long Fei and Long Wu were even more surprised and surprised. They didn't expect that Xiaoxian would actually say that, don't want anything? To know. In the secret realm, strength is respected. Those precious treasures can only be obtained by powerful people. Although Meng Lingyun found the long sword first, this does not mean that it belongs to her. On the contrary, if Meng Lingyun does not have enough ability to protect the sword, it might even bring disaster to herself. That's why Xiaoxian's current choice is so important. After all, he is now the nominal number one master in the secret realm. Even if he takes action now and snatches the long sword from Meng Lingyun's hand, there seems to be no consequences. But now it looks like Xiaoxian actually had no such idea at all. It seems that you are not interested in that long sword at all? Is this real, or is he just pretending? Is what young Master Xiaoxian said true? At this time, even Meng Lingyun couldn't help but doubt, is young Master Xiao really willing to cooperate with us? Integrity. This is the principle that I, Xiaoxian, have always adhered to. Xiaoxian doesn't know either. Wouldn't it seem a bit hypocritical for him to say this at this time? But it is undeniable that deep down in his heart, he really doesn't have many thoughts about the long sword, let alone any intention to snatch it. Even though that long sword may indeed have been used by Gong Sunhea. It will also contain some of the swordsmanship insights he left behind, but even so, there are very few swordsmanship insights that can be preserved on it. It is completely inferior to his Wuji swordsmanship. More importantly, Gong Sunhea has made it very clear that Wuji Kendo is the most precious swordsmanship understanding in his life, and even passing it on to Xiaoxian is a bit reluctant. It seemed that he didn't quite recognize Xiaoxian's strength. Compared to the long sword that Meng Lingyun regarded as a treasure, Wuji Kendo was undoubtedly more precious. This is why Xiaoxian rejected Meng Lingyun. Master Xiaoxian. According to my calculations, we stayed in the Purple Rat Cave for about 3 days, and there are still 7 days left to search for other treasures. Meng Lingyun hesitated for a moment. I wonder if young Master Xiaoxian has ever thought about where to go to look for treasures next. Actually, although Xiaoxian had the help of the spiritual eyes, he could also roughly tell where there were treasures, but when it came to it, he seemed to have no way of explaining why he wanted to look for them in these places. If we say, I found Wuji Sword Dao before, one could also say it was luck. So now, he can't always say it's luck, right? After thinking about it, Xiaoxian really couldn't think of any way to explain it. Finally, he suddenly glanced at Meng Lingyun and his eyes lit up. Master Meng Xiaogu. I think that as a well-known sect in the Kanglong Empire, the Blood Demon sect should have some experience in treasure hunting, right? Now that things have happened, do they still need to hide it? This, young Master Xiao is joking. How can our blood evil sect have such a treasure? Meng Lingyuan was stunned. She really didn't expect that Xiao Xian could be so direct and his guesses so accurate. In fact, Xiao Xian was right. Before entering the secret realm, she did receive guidance from her master, explaining that treasures might appear in some places in the secret realm. And she believed it? Not just her, Wang Lei, Mo Feng and even Zhao Ho will definitely have similar reminders. After all, these three major sects all have some knowledge. After the secret realm came out, they basically sent top experts to explore it, just to let the disciples of their sects find the treasure as soon as possible. But logically speaking, this should be considered a secret. Why can Xiao Xian accurately judge it? Could it be that he also knows something unknown? Master Meng Xiaogu, this is a bit uninteresting. This time, I have taken you to find the longsword used by Gong Sun Hea. Shouldn't Master Meng Xiao Valley reciprocate the favor? Xiao Xian deliberately kept a straight face. Could it be that Master Meng Xiaogu doesn't trust me? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 493. Of course not. Hearing Xiao Xian's words, Meng Lingyuan's face was also slightly embarrassed. In fact, as Xiao Xian said, before entering the secret realm, her master did tell her some places where treasures might appear. There are also some things to note in the secret realm. However, Meng Lingyuan didn't think that much about this. In her opinion, with her ability, it didn't seem that difficult to find treasures in the secret realm. Even without master's help. In the end, you can get those treasures to a large extent. But now, after getting the longsword with Xiao Xian's help, she felt a little embarrassed and simply said, "Well, in that case, I will take the lead in the next step." It's no problem if you take the lead. But what I'm more curious about is, how much benefit will it bring to us if you take the lead? Xiao Xian didn't care. On top of cultivating one path, there is never an eternal superior or an eternal inferior. Some are just people who play the greatest role in one position. If a person can play the greatest role in this position, then he is undoubtedly the top player. Just like now. If Meng Lingyuan can really lead Xiao Xian and others to find the treasure, then, she is the undoubted leader and the biggest contributor to the secret realm. Figure this out. Even Xiao Xian looked at Meng Lingyuan curiously, wanting to see what methods she could use to find the magic weapon hidden in the secret realm. It hasn't been long since I came to Daodao continent. But Xiao Xian also gained experience. Don't talk about anything else, but just talking about the Dao monks on this continent, all of them have the understanding of ordinary people who have not obtained the Dao. This was in the previous Tianwu continent and primordial continent. It's simply unthinkable. After all, for the cultivators on those two continents, these avenues are extremely precious things. Even for those descendants with royal blood, it is extremely difficult for them to understand the avenues. But now, on the great Dao continent, this has become something that everyone can practice. This had to make Xiao Xian deeply moved. Perhaps, this is the gap between planes and universes. How about it? I don't know, has Mr. Xiao Xian thought about it? If you are willing, I can take you with you reluctantly to search for the treasures in the secret realm, and the quality of the treasures will never let you down. Meng Lingyuan did not answer Xiao Xian's question, but asked instead. Regarding Meng Lingyuan's temperament, Xiao Xian was not surprised. In fact, since he met Meng Lingyuan, he has roughly understood that this woman is definitely not an ordinary woman, and she can always make some surprising decisions at critical moments. Just like now. Facing a dangerous secret realm, most people may be wary. Even royal family members like Mo Feng, Mo Li, and Mo Zhan dare not say that they can definitely find the treasure. But Meng Lingyuan is different. Even at this time, she could say such words with confidence. Of course, maybe Meng Lingyuan really has a way to find treasures, but even so, no one can guarantee that treasures will be found in the secret realm. Good. Since Master Meng Shao Valley has said so, if I say anything else, wouldn't it be showing distrust in Master Meng Shao Valley? Xiao Xian smiled. Then for the rest of the trip to the secret realm, we have to rely on Master Meng Shao Valley. Thanks to young Master Xiao Xian's trust, I will not let young Master Xiao down. Meng Lingyuan was very confident and looked back at Longfei Longwu. I will not let you two down either. Then thank you Master Meng Xiaogu. Longfei Longwu also nodded and thanked. At the same time, their admiration for Xiao Xian deepened even more. They knew very well that if they had not met Xiao Xian, they might not have the opportunity to enter this secret realm in their lives, let alone get this precious opportunity to practice. The road ahead. With Meng Lingyuan leading the way. Xiao Xian and others really found a lot of good things, including precious swordsmanship, cultivated elixirs, brand new magic weapons, and even saw a few spiritual pets and auspicious beasts with intelligence. However, spiritual pets and auspicious beasts of this level all recognize their owners. Without enough strength, basically don't let them surrender. They are arrogant by nature and even ignore Xiao Xian. There are also many dangers involved. There are ligers with one horn, dragons that can fly and dive, and wild giant snakes that can spit venom. They even met a 5-headed old turtle who could speak human words. But in the midst of the adventure, Xiao Xian also discovered a problem. Although Meng Lingyuan can predict the location of some treasures and can even roughly determine the type and grade of the treasures, the grade of the treasures she is looking for are all very low. Not to mention the golden treasure Xiao Xian encountered. She couldn't even find the red treasure. Therefore, after walking around and searching in the secret realm for several days, they basically found nothing good, which was simply incomparable to the treasures Xiao Xian found before. In the end, even Meng Lingyuan herself felt a little embarrassed. After all, in her opinion, she had already taken a big advantage by getting the long sword used by the Kendo overhaul. If she didn't find some good opportunities for Xiao Xian and others, it's somewhat inappropriate in terms of appearance. Ahem. Master Xiao Xian, after pulling out this century-old medicine, the spiritual energy in this area has become much thinner. There should be nothing better. Why don't we go one step further and go to the core area of the secret realm? Meng Lingyuan gritted her teeth and seemed to have made a difficult decision. Is there a more core area in the secret realm? Xiao Xian was a little surprised. Of course, when we first came to the secret realm, it was just an entrance area. As for the core area of the secret realm, it naturally represents more dangers and more opportunities. Meng Lingyuan said. She was somewhat hesitant in her heart. Before entering the secret realm, her master told her not to enter the core area of the secret realm easily unless she was confident enough. Because in the core area, you are likely to encounter dangers that ordinary people would not think of. These dangers are definitely not something that ordinary men of heaven can solve. This sentence has always been remembered by Meng Lingyuan. But now it seems that she is really interested in that mysterious core area. It is said that it is better to teach each other to get the tiger's cubs, since she wants to get opportunities and treasures that ordinary people do not have. Then, it is inevitable to pay efforts and costs that ordinary people cannot pay. What's more, since she got Gong Sun Hei's long sword, she obviously felt that her understanding of the sword had deepened. The barriers to the spiritual realm seem to have become a bit thinner. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 494. How about it? I wonder if you guys have the guts to follow me into this core area. Men Lingyuan said seriously, I can tell you in advance that there are many dangers in the core area of the secret realm, and you may even lose your life. These words of hers. It didn't sound like anything to Xiao Xian. The secret realm is a place where danger and opportunity coexist. If you want to get opportunities that ordinary people don't have, you have to take some risks. Xiao Xian is not worried about risks. He is more concerned about whether he can get what he wants if he takes the risk. There is also the so-called core area of the secret realm. What amazing opportunity is there? Seeing that Xiao Xian and the others didn't care, Men Lingyuan was also very satisfied, nodded, and said, actually, before entering the secret realm, my master found out that the most precious thing in this secret realm was left behind by a sword cultivator. The Remnant Soul Sword Move. Remnant Soul Sword Move? After hearing this, Xiao Xian was really stunned for a moment. At this time, he was a little dumbfounded. In fact, he used his spiritual eyes to scan the entire secret realm before, but unfortunately, except for the golden treasure before, no other golden treasure was ever seen. For a moment, he felt a little regretful. But now he understands everything. After arguing for a long time, it turns out that the Wuji sword move is already the most precious thing in this secret realm. Just don't know. If Men Lingyuan and others knew that Xiao Xian had taken Wuji sword move, would they be so angry that they would vomit blood? Dare to ask Master Meng Xiaogu. Is this sword move the same one Gong Sun Heya used to slash a mountain with one sword? Long Fei looked excited. A sword opens a mountain. This matter is an amazing achievement not only in the Kanglong Empire, but also in the entire Eastern Barren Continent. To this day, sword cultivators in the entire Eastern Barren Continent will feel respectful when mentioning Gong Sun Heya's name. At this moment, I heard that Gong Sun Heya's trick from back then was reborn. Naturally, it also aroused their excitement. As for people like Longfei Longwu, they also know that their talents are average, and if they want to learn Gong Sun Heya's sword-cutting skills, it is definitely bragging. But if you can practice 1/10 or 2 of them, it can also improve their realm a lot. Dare I ask, is what Master Meng Xiaogu said true? If this is the case, even if we take some risks, we are still willing to see what the sword move is. Long Fei said excitedly, after all, those are the sword moves left by Senior Gong Sun. Yes, as a sword cultivator, if you can look up to Senior Gong Sun's sword moves, you will have no regrets in this life. Long Wu also nodded. Then go and have a look. We are now in his secret realm. If we don't look for it, wouldn't our trip be in vain? Xiao Xian got off the donkey along the slope. He has every confidence to say so. Anyway, Wuji Kendo is now lying in his pocket, and he knows that in the secret realm, apart from Wuji Kendo, in fact, there are still some good things. Now there is a chance. He doesn't mind getting a little more, either. No one would dislike having too many treasures on their body, right? On the other side, Men Lingyuan also cared very much about Xiao Xian's thoughts. She understood that she was the one leading the way to the secret realm in name. But among their team, the strongest one is definitely Xiao Xian. The latter meaning is still crucial. To be honest, if Xiao Xian objects to entering the core area of the secret realm, it will definitely not be of any benefit to her subsequent decision-making. The rest of the way, Men Lingyuan seemed to have found a goal to move forward. The direction of travel became much more determined, heading directly towards the depths of the jungle, but strangely, they did not encounter as many obstacles as before. The journey was extremely smooth. Without those monsters and beasts, Longfei Longwu was naturally happy. But Xiao Xian was a little frowning. Others don't understand, but he understands that although they have received many benefits in the secret realm, they have to pay a price every time they receive a benefit. What a rich spiritual energy! Men Lingyuan also nodded and said with emotion, it has been hundreds of years since Gong Sun Jiangzi passed away. I didn't expect that this formation could be preserved so completely. Gongsun Jiangzi's understanding of the Great Path is really unattainable. After seeing the solemn expression on Xiao Xian's face, he also guessed that he might have seen something, and simply asked proactively, "Is it possible that Mr. Xiao Xian has any suggestions?" But behind these rich auras, even though Meng Lingyun was a little suspicious, she really couldn't say anything at this moment. At the same time, the scene in front of him also made Longfei Longwu instantly alert. "You look like you have something to say. No suggestions. This place should have the spiritual formation set up by Gongsun Jiangzi back then, so there is such a gathering of spiritual energy, forming such a blessed place for cultivation. What's going on? Are they in danger? Good. This is Zhao Ho's arm." Xiao Xian shook his head and smiled. Obviously, this area should have been created first. Xiao Xian naturally understands the situation here, but what he cares about is not how rich the aura of this place is. We haven't encountered anything now, and we don't know what dangers there will be on the road ahead. I'm not a god, so I can't prepare for a rainy day or give any advice. Master Xiao Xian. If they hadn't anticipated the injured purple-striped rat wolf, they probably wouldn't have been able to escape unscathed with their strength. See, Xiao Xian said this. The spiritual energy here is even richer than the cave heaven paradise in the sect. If you can practice here, I'm afraid you can get twice the result with half the effort. It also received successive approvals from Longfei and Longwu. Most likely there will be some danger. But now, her words came out. As they entered the core area of the secret realm, the surrounding spiritual energy was obviously much richer than before, and even the trees and rocks became huge and ancient. They all took out their swords and made defensive gestures. But looking at the depths of the dense forest in front of me, I suddenly felt something was wrong. There seemed to be a vague smell of blood in the dense forest. Xiao Xian can obviously feel it. Longfei took a deep breath, with a look of enjoyment on his face. She discovered that there was an arm of a human cultivator at her feet, and there was a gleaming sword in the bloody hand. After Meng Lingyun saw the long sword clearly, she was also surprised. She had seen Zhao Ho use the sword before, but she didn't expect to see it like this again. Just like the time he got Wuji Kendo. That is the real core of the secret realm. Meng Lingyun's reaction was very quick. Lower your head suddenly. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 495. The wound is smooth and looks like it was severed by a sword. The blood hasn't coagulated yet. The battle should have just ended not long ago, or, the killer is still nearby. Xiao Xian looked solemn. Zhao Ho may not be as strong as Mo Feng Wanglei, but coming from Wanbao Pavilion, he has never lacked spiritual weapons and magic weapons for self-defense. But now he can actually cut off his arm with a sword. The opponent was either so powerful that he could ignore Zhao Ho's self-defense weapons, or he took advantage of Zhao Ho's unpreparedness and succeeded in a sneak attack. But in both cases, either way, it is enough to prove that this person is extremely powerful and cunning. What makes Xiao Xian even more puzzled is that now Zhao Ho is nowhere to be seen alive and dead, leaving only one arm on the ground, more like a demonstration. So who is it and why did he attack Zhao Ho? Were Mo Feng, Wang Lei, and the others also hurt? About this question, Xiao Xian really had no clue in his heart. It seems that there is something troublesome ahead for Mo Feng and the others. Meng Lingyun also put away the relief on her face. The power of the Great Avenue was faintly flowing in her body, her whole body was tense, and she looked around vigilantly. Xiao Xian could tell. At this time, Meng Lingyun's energy burst out. The domineering power of the spiritual god realm was fully revealed. Master Meng Shao Valley has actually been promoted to the spiritual god realm. Thinking about it, he must have gotten the promotion opportunity in the adventure just now. It is really enviable. Master Meng Xiaogu is only in his early 20s. If he is promoted to the spiritual god realm at this age, his future achievements may be immeasurable. Seeing the mysterious power of the Great Avenue in Meng Lingyuan, Long Fei and Long Wu both sighed. In the Dragon and Tiger sect, the two of them have pretty good talents, but they feel that if they want to advance to the spiritual realm, even with the help of the secret realm, they still have to walk a long way. But now, Meng Lingyuan was able to ascend to the spiritual realm in such a short period of time. The difference in talent is simply staggering. Master Meng Xiaogu is already a master in the realm of spiritual gods. His future is truly immeasurable, Long Fei couldn't help but say with envy. But it's nothing. Meng Lingyuan shook her head slightly and secretly looked at Xiao Xian next to her. This is not just a self-effacing statement. On the contrary, in front of Xiao Xian, even though Meng Lingyuan had been promoted to the spiritual realm, she could still feel an invisible pressure that made her not dare to neglect at all. If even Zhao Ho was poisoned, I'm afraid that others will not end well either. We'd better go take a look first. Regarding the life and death of people like Mo Feng, Xiao Xian was not interested at all. But just now, his spiritual eyes saw another faint golden treasure appearing in front of him. This was the reason why he decided to move forward. After all, in his opinion, the royal family of Kanglong Empire, the young master of Qinglei Palace, these are all bullshit. It is the last word to just improve your own strength. Brother Xiao, is there any danger? Long Fei was a little worried. In terms of strength, people like Mo Feng Wang Lei Zhao Ho are much stronger than them. Now that these people have been poisoned, how should they face these enemies? Don't worry. It's a blessing, not a curse. It's a curse that cannot be avoided. Now that Mo Feng and the others are blocking the thunder in front, we might be able to take advantage. Xiao Xian didn't care. Actually, what Xiao Xian said is absolutely correct. Less than a kilometer in front of them, Mo Feng and others were walking deeper into the jungle. To be precise, they were running. 10 minutes ago, they found a strange weed that looked like a sunflower. Just smelling this exotic herb can make people relaxed and focused, clear their eyesight, and greatly speed up the flow of the power of the avenue in the body. Originally they thought it was a chance encounter. But who knew that the sunflower would bring them not only benefits, but endless disasters? From Wang Lei drawing his sword, to cutting down the two followers behind him with one sword, and then cutting off Zhao Ho's arm, all these things happened in the blink of an eye. Even Mo Feng didn't expect it. Wang Lei, who was submissive a second ago, would suddenly become angry. Moreover, after being affected by the sunflower, Wang Lei's strength suddenly increased a lot, his eyes were red, and he looked like a madman, if he hadn't cooperated with Mo Limazan. I really can't take him down. Even so, Zhao Ho still lost an arm forever. In the end, Mo Li found out that the key to the problem was the sunflower, and quickly chopped down the flower, allowing Wang Lei to return to his original state. Zhao Ho, who had lost an arm inexplicably, jumped in pain. He wanted to rush forward and fight Wang Lei, but he was stopped in the end. He knew that people like Zhao Ho, who was born in Wanbao Pavilion, would probably not dare to really break up with him even if they became angry. Only by reprimanding and giving some benefits can Zhao Ho be obedient. Although the situation just now was thrilling. But Mo Feng also knew that these were all caused by sunflower. As long as a critical point is reached. However, when they saw the monks from Qinglei Palace and Wanbao Pavilion lying on the ground and being killed by long swords, they were also startled, with horror in their eyes. Mo Feng understood this very well. As expected. But they don't know. Although it is not as good as Wang Lei and Zhao Ho, the proud men of heaven. Even though he grimaced in pain, Zhao Ho gritted his teeth and nodded when he saw Mo Feng's livid face, indicating that he would not pursue the matter for the time being. At most, it's just a few complaints. For such people, we should give both kindness and power. These monks. As for Wang Lei's performance just now, although his body was only temporarily controlled by Sunflower, some organs in his body had quietly deteriorated. Mo Feng comforted him. Keep going. Next, there are more unknown dangers in the secret realm, and internal strife is seeking death. But they are also carefully selected from these large sects to protect their elite disciples. Compared to Xiaoxian, Meng Lingyun was more familiar with assassinations. After walking to the corpse and inspecting it, she quickly came to a conclusion. With system danger prompts. These people were all killed by Wang Lei. Who knows, he died here without any reason. The wages of avarice is death. This sunflower is so domineering, there must be something it wants to protect in front of it. I won't take any of it this time, and will give it all to brother Zhao Ho. When the sunflower was destroyed. Fortunately. Behind Mo Feng and others. Xiao Xian's journey to explore the secrets was much more convenient, and he could often get early warning before encountering danger. It will completely explode. What they are about to face is more terrifying than the sunflower that can charm the soul. Wang Lei is slowly returning to his original state. Seeing Zhao Ho's broken arm, Xiao Xian and others did not dare to neglect at all. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 496. What? Master Xiao, Master Meng Xiao, this is no joke. Are you telling the truth? Long Fi Longwu asks Xiao Xian and Meng Lingyun in disbelief. To know. This is definitely not a small thing. Among the 10 people who came to the secret realm this time, although they were divided into different factions, in the end they were all recruited by the Kanglong royal family. The team was led by 3 strong men from the Kanglong royal family, Mo Feng, Mo Li, Mo Zhan. Wang Lei, Zhao Ho and others should not have the courage to kill each other. What's more, in the secret realm, there are dangers every step of the way, and the future is bumpy. Even if you move forward step by step, you may encounter dangers, let alone fight with each other. So why did Wang Lei risk the disapproval of the world and attack Zhao Ho? Do you ever remember? When we were at the family conference, it was this Wang Lei who used the palm thunder to stand out among the disciples of the family. Xiao Xian pointed to the broken arm on the ground. In the secret realm, is there another person who can use palm thunder? After his analysis, everyone was a little confused, but they still lowered their heads and looked at the broken arm on the ground. You won't know if you don't look at it, but you will be shocked when you look at it. They hadn't noticed it before, but now they saw that there was a faint blue thunder pattern on Zhao Ho's arm. This texture doesn't look very obvious. If you don't look carefully, you won't notice it at all. But now, in the almost closed maze, there are actually lines left by the power of thunder and lightning. Then the murderer is naturally ready to be revealed. Who else could it be if it weren't Wang Lei? This, Wang Lei is too courageous. He dared to attack Zhao Ho. Aren't he afraid of causing conflicts between Qinglei Palace and Wanbao Pavilion? Long Fei couldn't help but say, these 2 major sects are definitely the 2 largest sects in the Kanglong Empire. If they fight, it will be a catastrophe. To this, Xiao Xian also nodded slightly, a little confused. Although he doesn't really recognize Wang Lei's strength. But it is undeniable that Chen Yao seemed to have taken the initiative to tell him one thing, that is, in the eastern wilderness continent, it seems that the first sect is Qinglei Palace. But why is Wang Lei's Qinglei Palace so weak? Master Xiao Xian, do you also think there will be a fight between Qinglei Palace and Wanbao Pavilion? Meng Lingyun turned around and asked Xiao Xian. There is no room for 2 tigers in one mountain. If they all have a desire for strength, I'm afraid the final thing will not be simple. Xiao Xian hesitated and added, just like now, although I don't know what happened between Wang Lei and Zhao Ho, but if Zhao Ho is really killed by Wang Lei, I'm afraid these two sects will not let it go. Furthermore, I heard that King Glei Palace is the most powerful sect on the eastern wilderness continent. Yes and no. Hearing Xiao Xian's last words. On the contrary, Meng Lingyun had a smile on her face, as if she had an urge to laugh. What do you mean? Xiao Xian didn't understand. What young Master Xiao said is correct. The Green Thunder Palace is indeed one of the most famous sects on the eastern wilderness continent, but Wang Lei's Blue Thunder Palace is completely different from the superior Qing Lei Palace. It's not relevant. Meng Lingyun smiled and said, in fact, the only thing they have in common is that the names of their sects are the same. Got this answer? Xiao Xian was stunned for a moment. He thought about various situations and thought that the reason why Wang Lei was so weak was because of his lack of talent, not because of the sect behind him. But he didn't expect that the name King Glei Palace was actually the same. This is why the aloof King Glei Palace doesn't care. Otherwise, just because Wang Lei's small sect dared to use such a big name and pretended to be powerful, wouldn't it have been destroyed in a matter of seconds? Master Xiao. He looked like a master of swordsmanship and a senior ancestor. He has seen too many such things. No. Indeed so. After saying that, he took the lead and walked directly to the front. Xiao Xian also nodded. Even the former Buddhas and Taoist ancestors, Deluo Jingxian, Hongmeng Patriarch, and heavenly saints were not looked down upon by her. What could she do to the inferior secret realm created by a mere sword cultivator in a single thought? Is this what Wang Lei thinks about the King Glei Palace? This is a strange thing to say. For a moment, Meng Lingyun seemed to feel that the person in front of her was not just a practitioner of the power of the avenue, but a master swordsman with unique skills and outstanding strength. Just follow me. But the more important point is this. Right or wrong? Trouble. Disaster. And he laughed. Figure this out. What do we do next? On the same continent, no matter how small a sect is, they generally will not give the same name to others casually. This is also the last confidence and dignity of this sect. Just when Xiao Xian was in a trance. For a sect, how powerful the disciples are, how vast the sect's influence is, and how deep the sect's heritage is, these are all very important components. Regarding Meng Lingyun's judgment. Unless, this sect is deliberately trying to gain the reputation of other sects. Ordinarily, King Glei Palace is considered a famous sect on the Eastern Wilds continent, so it shouldn't turn a blind eye to the sect that pretends to be them, but this is the fact. Meng Lingyun interrupted his thoughts, her expression more serious than ever before. Looking at it, the situation ahead must be very complicated. If we follow, I'm afraid we will also be involved in this dispute. Xiao Xian nodded and said with a bit of laughter, but what I'm more curious about is, does the superior King Glei Palace know that someone with the same name as them would have some other reactions? Meng Lingyun also seemed a little confused. Before, some real people from the Blue Thunder Palace came to the Kanglong Empire. However, when they heard that we also have a Blue Thunder Palace here, they were just surprised, but they didn't ask any more questions. I didn't take the initiative to cause trouble for them. The reputation and fame of a sect. But then, Xiao Xian frowned instead. At this time, no matter how generous he is, it is difficult to understand this behavior. Before, they only thought that Xiao Xian was a mysterious master with some strength, and that was it. But now it was completely different. They felt that Xiao Xian was indeed a leader with leadership qualities. When Meng Lingyun and others faced Xiao Xian, their thoughts changed again. Xiao Xian said directly, since I have destroyed thousands of things in the world with one sword, I don't believe it. There are still things in this world that cannot be solved with one sword. How about it? Isn't this answer very shocking? Hear this explanation. Master Xiaoxian. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 497. In the secret realm. Meng Lingyuan and others made subtle changes to him. Xiaoxian naturally saw it clearly. After all, he was the undoubted leader no matter in the Tianwu continent or the Great Desolate Continent. That time. Even when facing the top cultivator on the continent, he never showed the slightest hint of timidity. At this time, how can you be afraid of some crises in the secret realm? However, he understands better that this kind of thing should be despised strategically and taken seriously tactically. Although there is a system and a long history of time as trump cards. But he didn't want to capsize in the gutter. After all, in the Dao continent, the rules between heaven and earth were too strong to suppress the strength in his body. He can no longer use many of the techniques he used to have. Otherwise, at this moment, he only needs a soul clone and a physical body to leave his body, and he can go back in time and know what happened. My mind turned. Xiaoxian directly called out the system. Brother system. Give me a hint? What happened here before? Why did Wang Lei and Zhao Ho fight? Was it a dog-eat-dog fight? Xiaoxian actually didn't care about Zhao Ho's life or death at all. It's just that he wanted to figure out what was going on, and see if he could use the system to figure out what Mo Feng, Wang Lei, and the others had discovered. Master Host, are you a bit pragmatic? The system's voice seemed a bit resentful. Hey, what does pragmatism mean? The system is meant to serve the host. Can your system correct its attitude? Okay, what do you want to know? I want you to cheat and tell us what happened here. What good things have appeared? Xiaoxian is really curious. If this thing is good, he doesn't mind flowing through the muddy water with Meng Lingyuan. But if this thing is of no use at all, then there seems to be no need for him to take such a big risk. So at this moment, Xiaoxian still has a wait-and-see mentality. Cut. The host really overestimates them. This secret realm was created by Gongsun Heya after all. With their little realm, how can they possibly know what kind of treasure is in this secret realm? The disdain in the system's tone was barely concealed, not to mention Wang Lei and Zhao Ho, even the most talented Mo Feng and Mo Li couldn't tell. They just knew that a treasure was born in the core area of the secret realm, but they didn't I don't know what kind of treasure it is. You know, Xiaoxian struck while the iron was hot. It's natural. The system originally wanted to give it away. However, after seeing Xiaoxian's almost murderous gaze, he still shut his mouth honestly, and then said, in the secret realm, in addition to the Wuji sword technique that you have obtained, the other most precious thing is, it's just a pill. A panacea that can cleanse bones and cut marrow, dragon body pill. Dragon body pill. Sounds pretty awesome. Of course, Gongsun Heya got this elixir from a secret realm back then. He never wanted to use it. He had no choice but to hide it in the secret realm until his death. The system sighed, but it's a pity. If Gongsun Heya had used this elixir back then, he might have been able to do better, right? He wouldn't have fallen early. Can I use this? Xiaoxian heard some meaning. Listen to what the system says. Such an awesome person as Gongsun Heya was reluctant to use the dragon body pill back then, and even hid it as a treasure? This at least shows. Dragon body pill is indeed very useful. If this thing is so useful, what will happen if he gets it? Wouldn't the strength be greatly enhanced? Now, although Xiaoxian has a bug-level plug-in called Time Changhe, it can only make him invincible at that time. The long river of time, in the final analysis, is just a plug-in for defense and self-protection. As for whether he wants to gain a foothold on the Dao continent in the future, or even open up a world and become a great person, he may need to spend some other thoughts. This trip to the secret place, Wujikendo, is an important opportunity for him to improve his strength. He is bound to get the dragon body pill. How do you get it? Xiao Xian was never polite to the system. Master host, are you a little too bold? This dragon body pill is a magical pill that even Gong Sunhea is reluctant to use. Just one word, and you will ask me to find it for you. The system voice was resentful. Otherwise, a system that doesn't love itself is like a rotten leafy vegetable. I can tell you that now in the Dao continent, although many people's strength has improved, it is not that easy for you to find a suitable host. Xiao Xian didn't care. If you don't believe it, you can try to unbind it now. Don't. Host, stop joking. Let's play, let's make trouble, don't make fun of the system. The system was indeed panicked. In fact, this is not the first time Xiao Xian has taken advantage of the system, but every time he has achieved good results. At least, judging from the current situation, the system is still obedient to him. Xiao Xian's confidence is also very simple and clear. In the Dao continent, or even in the entire Xiantian world, there is probably no such talented practitioner as him. How easy would it be for the system to find another one? Actually, although the dragon body pill is precious, it is not impossible to obtain. But it's a risk. The system hesitated and said, the dragon body pill is a 4th level elixir. The body already contains the elixir. The most important thing to get this elixir is to conquer the elixir. Pill spirit? Xiao Xian frowned slightly. He still has some impression of this thing. He had also heard of this kind of thing in the Tianwu continent and the prehistoric continent, but generally the elixirs that could contain elixirs were extremely high-grade elixirs. Why is it on the Great Dao continent? Can a mere 4th level elixir contain elixirs? Then how to subdue the elixir spirit? Xiao Xian was more curious about what he should do. It's easy to say. As a host, you only need to be able to find something that interests the alchemy spirit enough. You don't even have to take the initiative to surrender. The alchemy spirit will take the initiative to surrender to you. The system said, I can prepare something like this for you, the host, right now. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the secret book of elixir raising. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 30 copies of Danling Culture Medium. Congratulations to the host for receiving a bundle of heavenly spiritual energy. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a jade river in the universe. Here a series of system reminders. Xiao Xian couldn't help but smile. From a certain aspect, the system was relatively reliable, at least it was more generous in delivering things for him. As long as there is something good for him, the system will give it to him without hesitation. I just don't know how to use these things. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 498. Alright. Thank you very much, brother system. After I surrender the Danling, I will be looking for you to tell you the good news. See the various herbs in the storage ring. Xiao Xian is also confident. As for the other side, Meng Lingyun and others all looked at each other in confusion, looking at Xiao Xian a little confused, not knowing what the latter was up to. A long time after Xiao Xian finished his conversation with System Dan, only then returned to real life. Master Xiao Xian? Are you feeling unwell? Meng Lingyun asked tentatively. It's not uncomfortable, it's just, I just thought about how to find what we need next. Xiao Xian changed the subject. Indeed. Wang Lei's attack on Zhao Ho is too big. Meng Lingyun also nodded. I can't imagine what the consequences would be if the senior officials of the Kanglong Empire knew about this matter. It's useless even if you know. Aren't there realm restrictions at the entrance to the secret realm? With this layer of restrictions, the masters of the Kanglong Empire cannot enter this place at all. Even if Wang Lei kills Zhao Ho, there is nothing they can do. Xiao Xian paused. Similarly, at this moment, the only one we can rely on in the secret realm is ourselves. He said this. Meng Lingyun and others also nodded silently and looked at him hopefully. Xiao Xian knew that this was the time when he needed to make a decision. If he, as the leader of the team this time, could not come up with a suitable solution, then he will lose trust in front of these people. At this point, we have no way out. Risks often coexist with opportunities. Although there are dangers ahead, I believe there will also be opportunities that are difficult for ordinary people to encounter. If we leave today, I believe you will regret it one day in the future. Xiao Xian glanced at the people around him and said. Say it. Meng Lingyun, Longfi Longluo and others were immediately speechless. People are greedy, and they also have thoughts and ideas that are afraid of risks. However, when the benefits that can be obtained are greater than the risks, people will have a desire to challenge the risks. It was just like when I entered the secret realm. Although they knew that they might encounter crises in the secret realm, they still bravely took on the challenge in order to seize the elusive opportunities. Now, since we have arrived at the core area of the secret realm, of course it is impossible to give up. However, when they saw the bloody stumps on the ground, they still felt fear for a moment. At this time, under Xiao Xian's encouragement, Meng Lingyun and others quickly aroused their inner desire for treasures, and nodded at the same time, saying, Young Master Xiao Xian, you are right. Since we have come to this step, give up, it's a betrayal of previous efforts. We are willing to follow Mr. Xiao. Master Xiao, what do you think we should do? Meng Lingyun expressed her stance. Longfei and Longwu were not left behind and expressed their willingness to follow Xiao Xian. The matter has been decided. Xiao Xian did not hesitate and took the initiative to follow the direction indicated by the spirit detecting eye. The spiritual energy in the core area of the secret realm is much richer than in the peripheral areas. At the same time, there are more dangers and opportunities than before. When walking in the jungle, you can often see some precious spiritual herbs that are 10 years old. These things can only be bought at a high price in the outside world. There are even some things that have a price but no market. Seeing these things, even Meng Lingyun from the big sect became jealous, and occasionally took the initiative to collect some. Not to mention flying dragon dance. Compared to the dragon tiger sect and the blood evil sect, they are in the sky and on the ground. Even if they are core disciples, they usually don't see so many spiritual herbs and elixirs. On the other hand, Xiao Xian was indifferent to all this. He could feel that although there was a lot of spiritual power and charm in these spiritual herbs and elixirs, they were not of much help to him. It couldn't even let him touch the barrier of the spiritual god realm. So, along the way, Xiao Xian looked at some things casually, and only when he occasionally saw the spiritual herbs that he truly cherished, he would take the initiative to step forward. But soon, he came to a valley with lush jungles and rich spiritual energy, and at the same time, he also discovered a very strange thing. Looking from the outside, this valley is shrouded in mist and full of aura. The trees and vegetation inside are growing well. Some big trees soar into the sky, and some vines are as thick as a python. Even some fern branches are as thick as an adult's arm. Xiao Xian and others walked among them as if they were in a kingdom of giants. This made him somewhat uneasy. Make a rough inference. He felt that these forest trees were at least 100 years old. Although they were all plants, they grew intertwined and very close to each other. It seems that they are also fighting for sunlight, soil, water, and nutrients. The towering black tree trunks, thick vines, and the leaves are wide enough to cover the sky and the sun. They look more like some tree spirits and grass monsters who have been trained to become monsters. Hiss. Xiao Xian couldn't help but take a breath of air. He knew that practicing a method was never just about people. As long as there was enough spiritual energy, plants, animals, and even rock elixirs could cultivate their own spiritual wisdom. Just like these trees now. In such a good environment, it is inevitable that one or two will develop spiritual wisdom. If they have malicious intentions, it will naturally be difficult for Xiaoxian and others to deal with them. Are you looking for death? Young man. A few weaklings with great power actually broke into the realm of swordsmanship without authorization. At this time, an old and deep voice suddenly sounded. Xiaoxian and others were suddenly surprised and quickly looked around, but no one was there. People's fear of the unknown is always greater than the visible threat. Meng Lingyun became obviously nervous. Come out if you have the ability. Back off. Are you going to be the second batch of humans to be used as fertilizer? The voice sounded again. This time, Xiaoxian heard the sound coming from the head. When he looked up, he saw that there was a towering tree above his head, with lush branches and crisscrossing vines. The sound really came from this old tree. Senior, is it a tree? Xiaoxian couldn't help but ask. According to what Senior said, there seems to be a group of people coming in front. If it is true, they should be with us. Good. But they should be dead by now. The old tree shook its crown. Those flesh and blood are somewhat plump, but they are only of low strength, and it will be a matter of time before they become fertilizer. After hearing this, Xiaoxian's heart sank. He also knows a little about the strength of Mo Feng and others. Although they are not so brilliant, they are still among the best masters below the realm of spiritual gods. Even these people are used as fertilizer. So how strong are the monsters in front of them? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 499. Boom. Just when Xiaoxian and others were secretly shocked. In the distant valley, a deafening sound suddenly came out. Everyone turned around and looked, but they were all shocked. I saw. A tall poplar tree suddenly broke in half. The upper half of the trunk fell to the ground, while the lower half was still upright, as if it had been sawed in half. The middle cross-section is smooth as new. It looks extremely scary. Why did this big tree fall suddenly? Changes occurred suddenly. Those present barely had time to react. Rao was a well-informed cultivator like Meng Lingyun, and he didn't react for a moment. He just stared blankly at the situation in front of him and muttered to himself. Longfei Longwu was even more frightened. Just now, although they did not see with their own eyes how the tree fell to the ground. But at this moment, you can still clearly see the smooth cross-section in the middle of the tree. It is obvious that the tree has received a lot of power. If this force acts on them, I was afraid that they would die on the spot. Maybe it's some kind of avenue rule. Otherwise, there would never be such a scene. Xiaoxian felt awe-inspiring in his heart. He understood that the entire secret realm was created by Gongsun Heya in a single thought back then. Naturally, the rules of the avenue in the secret realm should also be formulated by Gongsun Heya. Before, he had seen many similar secret scenes on the other two continents. But even so, he had never seen such a strange scene. Suddenly it can cause changes in the great road between heaven and earth. This is completely incredible. More importantly, according to what Lao Shu said just now, it seems that the route Mo Feng and the others are heading forward is ahead. Doesn't this mean that Mo Feng and the others have already experienced such a tragic road? Mo Feng and the others might be pretty good for Xiaoxian, but they are not that strong in the secret realm. Especially compared to the vision in the secret realm just now. Several of them had no ability to resist at all. It can be said. In this secret realm, Mo Feng and others are completely like fish and meat on the sword, and they are completely slaughtered. Don't they know this? Xiao Xian also knew that although people like Mo Feng were arrogant, but they are not all fools, stupid and green, knowing that there is a fire pit in front of them and they will jump into it. Just like now. Facing the old demon tree with a group of demons dancing in front of him, Xiao Xian was a little frightened. How could he, Mo Feng and others not be afraid at all, and even take the initiative to enter? Isn't this just because life is boring? Think about it. He really didn't understand. Brother Xiao Xian, what should we do? Do we still want to go in? Long Fei had a little struggle on his face. Although the treasures in the secret realm are good, they must be lived to enjoy them. With their strength, they can fight against those old demon trees. I'm afraid I don't know how I died. Not in a hurry. Only by knowing yourself and the enemy can you win every battle. Xiao Xian is not a reckless person. Being able to hang out in the fantasy world for many years, not only not falling down, but also making further progress, all depends on the cautious character of sailing the ship for thousands of years. At this time, he glanced at the old tree above his head. But suddenly I had an inexplicable feeling. He discovered that although Lishu was far more powerful than them just now and his tone was not very kind, at least he did not attack them directly. This really made Xiao Xian a little moved. You must know that it is in the secret realm. They are out and out intruders. Although they may not pose a threat to those old trees for the time being, this does not affect their status as invaders. Even if the old tree takes the initiative to sneak attack, even cruelly turning them into real fertilizer, Xiao Xian and the others seemed helpless. But at least now, this old tree did not do this. Instead, he took the initiative to remind Xiao Xian of the danger ahead and kindly persuaded them to go back. This shows that this old tree still has good intentions. Perhaps, this can also be something that Xiao Xian can take advantage of. Thinking of this, Xiao Xian suddenly laughed and slightly cupped his hands to the old tree. Although I don't know why Senior is trapped here, I am grateful to be reminded by Senior, but I still have to walk the road ahead. If you don't listen to kind words, don't regret it, the old tree said in an old voice. It's like seeing something precious. At the same time. But from his excited tone that could not be suppressed, one could roughly tell how excited he was feeling at the moment. Without waiting for Xiao Xian to explain, the old tree excused himself. It's like it never appeared. He could tell that this old tree still had a conscience. Although the treasure is now in sight, he has no intention of taking it away by force. This is enough to prove that this tree still has some bottom lines, which is a good thing for him. This is so embarrassing. This is, the spirit of plants. It will have a strong interest in it. This junior got it by chance. If the senior needs it, he can take it as a courtesy from the junior, Xiao Xian said with a smile. A tree vine hung down from the sky and wrapped around the plant spirit in his hand, and then the plant spirit was completely absorbed. Although the plant spirit is a treasure, it is only for plant bodies like the old man. It is not likely to be of much help to practitioners like us. Halfway through Xiao Xian's words, a cyan light suddenly appeared in his hand. Xiao Xian pretended to be polite. You know, this is the spirit of plants. For all the plants in the continent, this is a cultivation resource more precious than gold. Many plants will never get this kind of thing in their lifetime. The old tree seemed to be rejuvenated, its branches and leaves became much greener. Moreover, no matter how high the level of cultivation of this plant is. Thank you very much, little friend. Originally used to seduce elixir spirits, this thing is the source of cultivation for plants in the world. It can be said that all plants in the world will be interested in this thing. The plant spirit is specially given to Xiao Xian by the system. Senior, don't get me wrong. You don't have to be polite, old man. After smelling this scent, Lao Shu's tone became excited. Then if you want to discuss conditions with this old tree, We are not ungrateful people, but the people who entered the secret realm before are all our friends, so we still have to go and take a look. As soon as this thing appears. This had to make Lishu look at Xiaoxian with admiration. At the same time, he really couldn't figure out Xiaoxian's identity. In an instant, there was a touch of plant aura between the surrounding heaven and earth. This plant aura made the plants within a kilometer radius move strangely. This. Maybe you can get some benefits. But now Xiaoxian can actually take it out casually. That's why Xiaoxian's words have such a big effect now. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 500. Eaters have short mouths, and takers have short hands. Although Lishu is not a human cultivator, he has acquired the spiritual wisdom and thinking of a human being through long-term cultivation. After taking advantage of Xiaoxian, he feels somewhat embarrassed. For this, Xiaoxian saw it clearly and knew it even more clearly in his heart. What he was waiting for was Lishu's guilt. Ahem. A few of my friends have come all the way to this secret realm, maybe they have some purpose, right? Xiaoxian didn't say much, but Lao Shu couldn't help it anymore and asked with a bit of embarrassment, if there is anything I can help with, it doesn't matter. After hearing this, only then did Xiaoxian's smile appear on his face. He deliberately didn't make a request just now, just waiting for the old tree to take the initiative to speak. Originally, he was a little worried. If Lao Shu really came to eat and wipe out everything, he would really have no place to cry. But now it seems that the old tree did not let him down. Thank you very much. Actually, we don't have much ambition. We just want to go to the core area to pay homage to the great path of sword cultivation back then. Xiaoxian smiled slightly. The sword repairs the road. This can be said to be the most precious thing Gongsun Heya has cultivated throughout his life. Most people have probably never even heard of it, let alone paying homage, but now Xiaoxian is better. After saying one sentence, he actually feels like going to see it. The courage is staggering. At this time, even Meng Lingyun, Longfi Longwu, and others were sweating for Xiaoxian. You must know that these old trees live in a secret realm. At a glance, they may have lived for hundreds of years, and they were all created by Gongsun Heya back then. It should be considered that Gongsun Heya stayed behind to protect the secret realm. But now, Xiaoxian actually directly talked about plotting his sword cultivation path. Isn't this equivalent to actively provoking others? Figure this out. Meng Lingyun and others were a little nervous, fearing that the old tree in front of them would suddenly rise up. However, this matter did not happen after all. The old tree seemed to sigh, and then said slowly, "Young friends, don't worry. Back then, when the master created the secret realm, he set a rule that only young and promising descendants would be eligible for the title of master inheritance, so you don't need to panic." Oh. Is there such a thing? Then I dare to ask Senior, what kind of person does it take to be considered young and promising? Meng Lingyun suddenly became interested. You need to complete several tasks assigned by the master. Only in this way can you be called a young and promising person, said the old tree. Over the past hundreds of years, thousands of people have challenged it, but no one has succeeded. Well, what happens if it fails? Longfei asked. Death, or staying forever. The old tree shook its crown, becoming like them. What are they? This time, it's not just Meng Lingyun and others. Even Xiaoxian became interested and turned back to look in the direction pointed by the old tree. This sight made their scalps feel numb. I saw. In a valley behind an old tree. The ground was white and covered with scattered bones. There were so many bones that they could almost cover the entire valley floor. Inside the skeletons, there were some practitioners with hollow eyes, thin bodies, and wearing tattered cloaks or monk uniforms, walking around in a daze. Just looking at that look, it was obvious that there was no breath of life left. Seems to have turned into an unaware walking dead. This is. Xiao Xian couldn't help but ask. This place is called Ghost Valley. It is a training place created by the master to hone the mind of his disciples. If you want to get the master's swordsmanship, you must pass through this place. The old tree said, "Here, maybe you can meet your former companions." This was said plainly. This valley of ghosts seemed to be 1,000 feet deep. It was filled with bones and ghosts everywhere, and fierce winds blew from time to time. Coming to the secret realm was more dangerous, so the Blood Evil sect had originally thought about giving up. The master of the Blood Evil sect who came to the secret realm with Meng Lingyun had a momentary look on his face. It gives people chills. After hearing this, Xiao Xian also roughly understood that the reason why Gongsun He created this secret realm was not only to store his treasures, but also to find a successor for his swordsmanship. If you want to get the Great Road, go ahead. It doesn't matter if you don't want to go, just wait here. Not to mention the terrifying Ghost Valley in front of them, even if Xiao Xian and Meng Lingyun are lucky and pass through the Ghost Valley, who knows what dangers they will encounter later. He heard what Meng Lingyun meant, and it seemed that this was already a farewell. However, he also knew Meng Lingyun's temperament, and he would never regret anything he decided. Just like before. Meng Lingyun was okay, Longfei Longwu and a Blood Evil sect master brought by Meng Lingyun, but these three people were a little hesitant. Xiao Xian smiled, maybe we are really lucky and got it. Even Meng Lingyun herself felt a little guilty. After all, anyone with a discerning eye can see that this valley of ghostly souls is obviously not a place that ordinary people can go. Not to mention that they are not people at the level of the proud of heaven. Even if they are, it is probably extremely dangerous in the valley of ghostly souls. Said. Over the years, many of the proud men who came to the secret realm to search for treasures have perished. Xiao Xian was not surprised. Meng Lingyun did not make it difficult for them, and waved her hand slightly, when young Master Xiao Xian and I go to explore the core area, if we can successfully find the avenue left by Gongsun Jiangziu, it will be a good fortune. After hearing this, young Valley Master, he said so. For this. However, in the end, at Meng Lingyun's insistence, the Blood Evil sect sent her to participate in the secret adventure. When things got to this point, it was naturally impossible for her to give up. Meng Lingyun forced a smile on her face and said to Longfei Longwu, just wait here. If the 10 days are up, you can leave on your own. Although Gongsun He's swordsmanship may not be that easy to obtain, but who knows that we can't obtain it. Don't be so pessimistic. A few. After all, this thing is simple to say, but not so simple to do. After he asked this question. But in the hearts of Xiao Xian and others, it felt like a cold wind was blowing. Xiao Xian turned around, looked at Meng Lingyun and Longfei Longwu, and asked, are you willing to go? After the old tree finished speaking, he said no more. Even the old tree said it. Ha ha. Treasures are important, but they also need a life to obtain them.